So we all know that I have got a massive soft spot for the MK60 High Pheasant. I bought one a couple of years ago, sold it, regretted it massively. And we also had a pair come into the shop last season, which I loved that much. I took up on the grouse moor with us to film our grouse day last season. And lo and behold, just yesterday, we bought in a pair of beautiful MK60 High Pheasant IIs. These are absolutely stunning. So, unlike their predecessor, they are 32-inch barreled. However, they are 3-inch chambered, steel-proof and multi-choke, making them future-proof, which obviously was probably one of the only issues with its predecessor. The other thing that they've done is they have upgraded the engraving, which I think is absolutely beautiful. And it's a nice touch because it makes the High Pheasant edition stand out from the standard grade 5 guns. Obviously, the previous gun had just the standard scroll engraving, as does the grade 5 MK60 and the grade 5 MK38. So I think that is a beautiful, beautiful change that they have made to the gun. As per, comes with a beautiful grade 5 wood. It is an absolute cracker, and they are presented in that beautiful double case from Miroku. So best thing to do is head out, give them a try and see if they're as good as their predecessor. Can I see them first? Is that allowed?
No, you can't.
Cool. Cool. Literally 5 minutes he'd messaged me.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. So, as you can see, I haven't got the shot cam on today, and that is because it is slightly front heavy compared to its predecessor. Obviously, it's going to be down to the multi-choking, but also the fact that they've gone with a solid rib, which I don't know if I'm a fan of. These guns are designed that you're going to use them on big days, shooting lots of shells. The vented rib gets rid of that heat haze and obviously keeps it a little bit better balanced. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. It brings that weight up the front end. Fixable with a bit of lead in the back, which would make it a little bit heavier, which, again, for shooting big shells, be perfect. So it's fixable, but I really think they should have stuck with that vented rib. Oh. Oh. I can shoot driven stuff. Yeah. Huh? No, don't count them. Oh no, you can count those because I killed them. Count them because I killed them.
You provided the Remy. What? You said, what's going on?
Well, you know what I think to that. Oh. No, do I mullered them? Oh. So, to try and keep it as similar to the previous one, I've got the full and 3/4 choke in. Unfortunately, by the looks of it, I am still on Welsh time. I've been shooting in front of everything today. After shooting Lake Woodygarth the other week, I've just been so used to giving everything big lead that trying to back off and shoot stuff nice and close is quite difficult. It shoots as well as the other. I'm not shooting as well as I shot with the other, but that's all down to me. pull. 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 I've come back to stand 2 because I shot atrociously on here earlier, just overleading everything, and they really don't need it. So far, so good. It is a carbon copy of its predecessor. I really like the engraving. I think that's a really nice touch. As I've said, it just stands alone then from just the standard grade 5 guns. It just gives it that little bit of an edge. It is front end heavy. Again, it's fixable with a bit of weight in the back, and I don't think that would be a problem. So, last pair, we'll head back to the shop and we'll chat about the specs. Pull. Right, okay, specifications. So, as per its predecessor, 32-inch barrels, and that is about where we're the same. So, 3-inch chambered, steel-proof, multi-choke. Again, grade 5 wood, as per its predecessor, with a 14 and 3/4 inch stock. However, they have changed the forend. They have come away from that tulip style forend, which I absolutely love. I think is a brilliant idea because it really, really suits my style of shooting. And then, with the action, they have changed the engraving. They've gone for this beautiful, beautiful game scene, which I think is a really, really lovely addition because it makes the gun stand apart from the standard MK60 or the MK38 with that just scrobble engraving. I think that is a lovely, lovely addition. So these are going to be on our website for £6,995. I will put a link in the description below for you guys if you would like to go and have a look. So, honest opinion of what I think. Are they as good as the predecessor? I think I like a lot of the changes. And there's really one change that I don't like, but we'll come to that in a minute. So I love the fact that they have gone multi-choke with the gun. It makes the gun a lot more versatile. For example, you could go and shoot at Lake Garth, as I have done recently. Double gun, full and 3/4 choke in both guns. However, I could then come home to our local syndicate, quarter choke, and shoot some standard flatland Nottinghamshire birds. That, I think, is a fantastic addition to the gun alongside that steel proofing because it means that the guns are usable for absolutely everything you need to do. And if you have got to shoot steel, problem solved. The engraving, I absolutely love. I think that game scene is so, so nicely done. It's very elegant. It's very, very subtle. It's not over the top. It's not too deep. It's just really, really nicely done. And it makes the guns, as I've already said, stand apart from its predecessor. Now, the bit I have a problem with. Barrels are a major, major part of a gun. And I think that the guys at Miroku have missed a beat and come away from the original too far because of this. So the guns come in at £8.10. Both of them, they are very, very heavy compared to the predecessors where mine came in, I think the previous pair we came in, came in at between £8.3 and £8.1, just off the top of my head. So you've got a big jump up in weight, and the weight is at the front of the gun. So the balancing point is just in front of the joint pin by about, I don't know, ½ an inch, which may not seem like a lot, but when you're on a big day shooting, and you're shooting a lot of cartridges, and all the birds are up here, it makes a difference, because all of the weight is in that front hand, and that's the one that's going to tire the most because it's outreached and furthest away from the body. Also, because they have decided now to go for a solid top rib and solid mid rib, which is obviously where the weight is come from, you've got two problems. First of all, the barrels are going to get hotter and hold onto their heat, which is going to obviously make it more difficult for yourself for handling the gun, as well as your loader, and also the heat haze from that top rib. Now, the predecessor had a ventilated top rib, and as from the clay shooting side of things, a ventilated top rib helps dissipate heat and reduce heat haze, which obviously, regardless of whether you're shooting at a clay or a bird, having heat haze in front of you is never good. And I don't think the guys at Miroku have got it right with that. We see this quite a lot. Manufacturers make a really, really good gun, and then they decide to either upgrade them or change them, or like this, bring out a Mark II. And the Mark I has some better features than the Mark II. And it's really, really difficult because, as I've said, the gun's more versatile compared to its predecessor with the choking system and obviously the steel proofing. But as a high pheasant gun, which is what these are designed of, I think the predecessor had the edge. One of the other additions that I do really like is the guys at Miroku have now decided to supply a nice double case. Now, it may be something very small and very simple, but again, if you are travelling, which will happen if you're going to a lot of the big shoots, having a case like this to transport your guns in safely and securely is absolutely brilliant. It also gives you somewhere to put your chokes, as you get 10, as you would expect, 5 with each gun. But I think that is a really, really nice addition. Back to the barrels. You can tell there's a lot of weight in them. You can feel it. You can feel it when you're shooting the gun. And as I said earlier in the film, we didn't put the shot cam on because of that reason. I did mount it up with the shot cam on prior to going out, and it was horrendous. It would have been unshootable. So we decided to go without it for the day and try and be as close to the predecessor as possible. I don't think the guys at Miroku have got it wrong. I think they have really, really stepped up their game with the High Pheasant II. But I really wish they had kept that ventilated top lid. It brought that weight back down, back towards the centre of the gun, making for a better balanced, faster handling, faster moving gun. And that's really what you want on big days. You know, you don't want to be tired out too early, and you want a gun that... It's difficult because you have to be on the fence. You want a gun that is heavy enough to soak up the recoil from a bigger cartridge, which you are going to be shooting, but you also don't want a gun that's too heavy that it's not manoeuvrable, because, you know, big tall birds, you need a lot of time to spend with the birds. There's a lot of movement involved. You don't want to be absolutely knackered by the end of the day throwing something around. So it really is difficult, and I think that's where they got the original High Pheasant one right, is the weight and the balance of the gun. Even though it was over 8 pounds, it still moved really, really nicely. I mean, we took it out on the grouse. Obviously, grouse shooting is notoriously quick and fast, and there's a lot of gun movement involved. And that's why I took them, because even though they were 32-inch, even though they were full and 3/4 choke, they handled beautifully. I mean, that is one thing. Like MK60s, just off the shelf, just fit me. And when we did our gun fit video with Matt, when he got my measurements right, he did say that, you know, one of the off-the-shelf guns that's going to be closest to work for me is an MK60, and they did when I decided to calm myself down from our Wales trip. So one of the problems I had on the day when we were filming was I was just driving out in front of birds that just did not need that lead. I was still thinking that I was shooting monster pheasants at Lake Whittygarth. But when I reined myself back in and I calmed it down and I slowed down, I shot really, really nicely with the guns, and I really, really enjoyed shooting them. I did shoot them obviously with the full and 3/4 choke, just to try and be as close to the predecessors as possible. I'm not going to say I don't like them, because I do. I absolutely love them. I think they are stunningly beautiful. I really like the changes that they've made to it, but I just wish that they had kept that ventilated top rib. I think if they'd done that, they would have absolutely nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. I think they're 95% there, and they are a beautiful, beautiful pair of guns. And as I've said, they will be listed on our website for you if you are interested to have a look. Are they as good as the predecessor is the big question. I'm not going to answer that, but I think it's for one of you to find out. So thank you for watching this week, guys. We'll be back to you next week with another video. I'd like to say a huge thank you to you all for watching this week, and also to our amazing sponsors who help make our weekly videos possible. There's a link in the description below if you fancy checking them out. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up to date with our new videos released every Thursday.